have had this problem over and over again, and I know you've shown me how to do this a dozen times, but I can never remember how to do it, and I can never find the recording where you showed it to me before. So I know you index them by date, so I'm writing this date down so I can go back and look at it.
Okay.
But you can also make me do it, and I'll have some muscle memory maybe.
Yeah.
So
All right.
what I need to do is to set up the paper space for this drawing. I've started on the survey plat. And it's interesting. I'm actually doing this for an engineering company. They're out of Charleston, and they're going to do a development here, and they've subbed the boundary survey to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Good.
And they've sent me a couple of things that I haven't been able to figure out how to download in the drawing, but let's do that. Let's talk about that after we get the paper space set up and
Everything's set up to go. Yeah. Where is this project located? Is it also in Charleston, or is it?
Oh no, it's in Jefferson County.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, before we dive into that, we've been looking at a couple of things from the Huntington district, and yeah. I think you had sent me something that you had run across as well. Do you happen to know that fellow? I can't remember his name now. He's the top civilian guy at the district. He's not the Army guy, but the the head.
Let me think about it for a minute. I actually know him pretty well.
Because Dave looked him up and found some stuff about him, but we don't really have an in with him, and wondered if and you can just sort of think about that on your own. I just wanted to see if maybe you might be the route we could go.
I'd be happy to provide you with an introduction.
Good. All right, I'll let David know, and he can see. You know, David, the guy that I do this work with, particularly for core projects. You know, his last assignment, he's a retired Army colonel, and his last assignment was he was head of the Pittsburgh district. So, you know, he's certainly well familiar. He's an engineer, he's a West Point grad and all that good stuff. But,
right.
So, you know, we would certainly like to go in with somebody's backing, or, you know, so that they don't think we're just a bunch of yahoos. But so that's really all. No need to go looking at that stuff up right now. I just want to say if we could give you a call and maybe coordinate getting some things in front of him, we'll be in good shape. We've already sent him some information, but we'd like to maybe initiate some dialogue. So all right.
Mac McCarty is his name.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let me jot that down. Okay. All right, thanks. Now, what do we got going on here? You need to get this into a sheet.
Yeah.
Here, let me, I'm going to request remote control, not so that I can do it all, but just in case I need to pop in.
Sure.
All right, so the first step, of course, you've got that survey plat layout tab. So, and those layout tabs, those you can think of as your sheets of paper. You know, so if you are doing one that you're just doing a coordinate table, for instance, and you're going to plot it on an 8.5, you're going to print it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, you could make one layout tab to be an 8.5 by 11, and you could, you know, drop in your coordinates, you know, as a coordinate table, and either viewport into that if you put that into model space, or you could draw right onto the paper space if you had the information at hand, you know, from some other route. So all those tabs beyond model are just simply pieces of paper, and they all need to have a page setup that tells them, you know, what printer to use, what size the paper, and all that good stuff. Now we'll get to that in a second. But the first thing is that we need to figure out is, first of all, what, you know, sometimes you're dictated what scale it needs to be, but sometimes you just need to fit it the best.
Well,
So
what I did to try to figure that out, I just
Uh-huh.
measured the distance
Perfect.
roughly east
Yep.
to west, and I did the same thing north to south.
That's
And
exactly right.
I've got about 3,900 feet east to west and about 3,000 feet north to south.
Okay. So,
So it looks to me like maybe 200 scale.
well, yeah, I mean, whatever that needs to be, and it depends on how many note blocks and things like that you're going to need in your sheet. So, and also if you want on your sheet, if you wanted to give that it's got a sort of a southwest to northeast orientation, and you could have the sheet such that that long dimension of your graphics lines up with the long dimension of the page, which means that north arrow would be slightly turned
Right.
once it goes into the sheet. Of course, you're not going to change any of this geometry. You're just going to change the rotation of the view in that port. So,
yeah.
But sometimes, if this will fit comfortably at your given nominal scale, then there's no need to do any kind of a rotation on it. So you've got 3,900. Now, what size of sheet are you able to use, or do you need to use to match theirs? Or
well, they need to match mine. They're working in this county, so they're going to
yeah,
need to put
okay.
their stuff on 18 by 24, which is what we've been using.
Okay, so your 18 by 24 is the sheet we're going to get, and so at that size,
isn't that what we've been using, 18 by 24?
I think we can find that out. Yeah, well, just take the one you've got here that says Survey Plat down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Just right click that and choose page setup. Page setup manager. There it is. And hit the modify button. Or I'm sorry, you can see it right there below it. That's a 17 by 22.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we had that was because that's a standard sheet of paper that goes in some printers. Yeah, and an 18 by 24, and that may be what the county dictates, and that's what you need to do. But a 17, but you're not going to find anybody with a printer that prints an 18 by 24 piece of paper.
Right.
They will print a 17 by 22. Plus, that's 4 8.5 by 11s lined up edge to edge, and 2 of these will also make a 22 by, or I'm sorry, we'll make a let's see, a 17 by 22 is that's 34 by 44. That's, I think, the east side sheets.
Now they can do their engineering drawings in this county on 24 by 36, but anything that's going to get recorded has to be 17 by 22.
Okay, so 17 by 22 is what we need then.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll stick with that. And then, so let's go ahead and hit close on that for a second. And let's go back to your drawing, your main model space there. Now, to see how that's going to fit at 200 scale, 17 by 22 is what we got. So 17, 200 times that, so that's 3,400 on the short dimension, and then 22, that would be what, 44. Oops, 22 is 44. Hold on a second. 22, so I'm sorry, 400, 17, 200. That's 3,400. 22, 200 should be 4,400. Okay, so we're going to draw a frame. We're just going to draw a rectangle temporarily. We'll erase it. This is what I like to do to gauge my scale, make sure it's all going to fit. So over on that left-hand vertical set of toolbars, you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th from the bottom, that one right there. Click, and you're going to draw it. You're going to just, first of all, pick a point, And then as you move the mouse, just instead of, don't worry about trying to put it down graphically at this point, but down there where it says specify the other point down on the command line.
Yeah.
Click down there for a second with your mouse. Click right there. Now say you're going to say at, the at symbol, shift 2. That means go relative from this point to this distance instead of these coordinates. So we're going to go at 4400. So we get the X first. So we're going to say 4400, comma, what's around 70? So 3400. And just hit enter. Okay, now that is the size of that piece of paper at 200 scale. Now, and you would just, grab it and drag it around. You can see how it would fit. No. Don't stretch it. Don't stretch it. Use that point in the middle. See that dot in the middle? Yeah, you just want to move it. So that gives you an idea. And this is not going to stay. This is just something for us to gauge. If we put it on that piece of paper, now remember, this piece of paper has borders. You got to have room for notes and titles and stuff like that. So at 200 scale, that's what this would, that's where that sheet of paper would be. And so if we can make a viewport fit on that with those borders, and we probably could, then, but it's going to take up, the full width of the paper. And I think your orientation is probably about as optimum as you could get, because the long axis of your graphics is along the diagonal of this paper. So that's about as compact as you're going to get it east to west, and still keep it, north to south, so it fits as well. So that's probably all pretty good. Now here's another.
I have room up there for a location inside in the upper left corner. I think I have room for the title block. I guess I'll have room for the title block in the lower room.
Yeah, I
this
would
is just
think.
A boundary survey. They don't require the copious notes that the county requires.
Okay. And
I'll still have some notes, but not like.
Yeah, you're going to have you might even have to have a line table. You got a lot of short distances that I don't know if you're going to get it all. You're not going to get bearings and distances labeled on all those little things.
Probably not.
At this scale. So I would think you're going to have a line table for this, and that could go down there southwest of the main graphics. Now, the other thing is, if we're putting this on this 17 by 22 piece of paper, at this scale, this is 200. So what is maybe another common scale? It's not all that common to see 1 inch equals 300. You might see 400 or 500, but that's going to make it too tiny to see all at once. Now, the alternative is, of course, you could split this with match lines into 2 sheets and plot it, say, at 100 scale. But you're gonna, probably, and it will, that just, it makes it inconvenient for the map reader. So this is probably what we'll do. We're just going to have to be really frugal with their labeling and such like that on the other side. So that looks okay. So with that highlighted and selected, you can go ahead and press the delete key. We just use that to sort of gauge it, to make sure that that's a good scale for us. Okay, so now over on the survey plat sheet, go ahead and click that. And you've got some, see that over there in the upper? Yeah, okay, I see. Okay, what is,
I guess I need to
let's see.
rid of all that stuff, huh?
Yeah, well, eventually there's something, this right in here. What was oh, that probably came out of the symbol, out of the legend or something. Anyway, it's not gonna hurt us. Just if we find it, we got something missing, we might see that it's up there. There was, what is that right there? Was that supposed to be? I can't tell when I zoom in so close. I can't really tell what that is. It's a block.
Should I go into my templates at some point and clean all of them up and get rid of that stuff?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, we can do it without, but I'm going to just delete that thing right there. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I mean, these are getting kind of unwieldy. It's sort of like, trying to make sure that we've got everything at our fingertips that we might need. But it's okay for now. So let's see here. I don't know why this thing is. I'm getting. Are you seeing, is everything showing up on yours when you see? When I zoom in at certain levels, it turns black and I only see a couple things. All right.
Yeah, same thing
And
happens here.
yeah, I think that's just zoom. I don't think that would happen. Now,
What
notice
are all
your
these
sealed.
wiggly things here?
Well, those are things that we've left over from, and see, now I've got it. It's gone black again on me. Let's do another regen.
Yeah, me too.
Let me zoom out enough to see it. All right. See, there's something. I suspect that's a piece of text up there somewhere. It's monstrously huge.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, I think you're right.
Oh, it's all of that. Yeah. Okay. So that's coming from those pieces of text being annotative. So we need to address that here for a second. So I want to maybe, if I select that, and that's a bunch of text. I think that's from your title block. And let's see, it shows me 2 blocks. We may wind up having to make that block non-annotative. I'm trying to get it to select the 1. And it's still getting 2. It's like they're the same. All right. If I can find the center point, the midline. There we go. Now, let me grab this one. And let's see, this is editing in place. I'm not sure we want to. All right, so that is, yeah, see, look at that height. You know what, Mike, I think it's going to be easier if we just do this. All right, that's the bar scale. Why, oh, why? All right, let me see here. I'll toggle that off. And take a look at this for a second, see what size. It is 1:1, 1 inch, 1 unit, that's good. Do we have, I don't understand why. So those are 2 blocks. There's one, and the block is PE stamp. Here's another one, also PE stamp. They're both shown to be non-annotative. But why are the attributes in them so goofy? All right, let me try this. If we go to insert, we're going to insert that PE stamp again, but we're going to do it from the disk. We're going to take it from the file. And we're going to say, browse. We're going to go find it. So navigate me to where you have that PE stamp drawing stored.
Oh boy, I hope I can remember.
It might be in Carlson stuff, or I don't know. CAD resources, right there.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, so go ahead and choose that and choose open. And then when it comes in, it's going to prompt you. All right, now go ahead and hit insert, click. And now before you place it, it says you want to redefine it. You want to say yes. Okay, and so now you just press escape. So it's taking the one that was, all right, let's try it again. Just up arrow to repeat the command. From file, you have to get it from file up at the top. Yeah, because if you leave it at that block name, it reads it from the drawing. So we want to read it from here. Let's say open. And go ahead and say insert. And now it asks, yes, you do want to redefine it. And now just click. So you're supposed to be able to press escape and the redefinition will stick. Apparently this version is not. So go ahead and click a spot just anywhere, and then we're going to erase it. Just click anywhere. Doesn't matter. All right, so there it is. Now, go ahead and select that. Just draw a little window around it and delete it. So all you're doing is taking out that particular instance of that block. Those other ones are still there, okay? Now we have the same thing with that bar scale that's happened. So let's go back to the draw menu, and down at the bottom, we're going to choose insert, and we're going to get it from the file, and we're going to browse for that. And
I don't know that we have a bar scale.
you know, we may not. Yeah, we don't in that folder. Let me see something here, maybe. All right, what is the name of the block? It is called bar scale. Let's say there it is, 101. And if I put it right there, I didn't see anything show up at all. Oh, I see what, never mind. It's my fault. Oh, shoot. Let's redo that. There we go. And there's that P stamp. Okay, now, if we insert, bar scale, we're going to insert it right here. And now I'm going to give it these values. 200, 400. What is going on with the scale? What is there? That's all right for now. Let's see. Let's edit these. View number and sheet number. All right. That's the detail call out. All right, name, prompt. Oh, that's just my sort. All right, now all of those should have a height. Oh, they vary. All right, so this one has a height of oh, it says it's annotated. Yes, and we want the annotation scale to be 1:1. There we get somewhere now. And it's paper text height. Trying to see which one might be. It said they varied. I don't see that number changing. Oh, there it is, 476 versus 478. And the one that's small is the dim 3. They should all be the same. All right, so that paper text height is going to be, now we're in inches because we're on our paper here, and we want those to be, let's just set them up as, let's say 0.08 inches. Now, we're going to save our block, close the block editor. So that took care of that one, I believe. And if we take a look at this one, that's in the legend. Not sure I get that, why this is happening. All right, if I select it, I've got 3 blocks. I've got one that is, there's bar scale still selected. I think we have more than one bar scale. All right. So there's bar scale. There's bar scale. And that one is called what? Detail call out. Okay, so we block edit. Whoops. I guess it's got to be here. Block edit. Right there was bar scale. And then detail call out. Same thing. If we select, there's the 2 attribute definitions. And let's see here, 0.1. Oh, shut up, Siri. All right, so here, annotated, yes, yes. Paper text height, 0.1. All right. All right, that's looking better. Good.
This almost defeats the purpose of starting with the template.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do, I don't know what's going on with this sheet. There's something about when we change that scale, and it might be an IntelliCAD thing. I'm not sure. I have to do a little research on that. But when we changed that scale to 1 to 200, it blew these things up. It did the same thing with your PE stamp, and those are defined blocks, and that shouldn't be happening. And so now, if I do that same thing and then close this block editor, see that should have fixed that. There's detail call out. But it also doesn't give me the block and the PE stamp and the bar scale. Now the PE stamp I'm pretty okay with, but this, what does it say? Select an annotation object. Oh. All right. There's a block called detail call out. Why? Oh, why? See, that just does that. But if I
And you can't just delete the PS stamp and the bar scale and start over?
yeah, we can. I was just hoping I could get some insight into why this was happening here. So if I edit this, look at settings, display. And those are still all ghosted. So if I take doesn't have any. So yeah, so you see these attribute definitions. It's a 1-to-1. The paper, let's see, paper text height is 0.1. So that's all perfectly valid. I don't know why we're seeing those ghosted images up there though. If I look at that and look at its annotation scaling, 1-to-1, that's exactly what I want. But see that bar scale, I'm getting closer. The bar scale block, we don't have it on the disk. We need to get it out to the disk, I think. All right, this we're just going to close and discard for now. I think we fixed the stamp, but what is with the bar scale? Let's see if I take, that's bar scale, bar scale. This is annotative, it's not annotative.
It's got to be a better way to do this. We can't take up the whole afternoon trying to fix the bar scale.
Yeah. All right, I want to write this out to disk. So yes, 1:1.08. Let me do this. W block. Not allowed block editor. Okay. What does this say? Opens the definition. Save it. Let's call it bar scale 2 and save it to a drawing file. And we'll put it right there. Now we'll exit this. And we'll just take those out of here. Zoom, there's your PE stamp is now healed. But we've got that bar scale that we need to bring back in. And if we insert from file, we put it there, we answer the prompts. The first dimension is 0, then it's 200, then it's 400, and it's 600. Oh, I should have put foot marks, okay.
But you like to do 2-0.
Yeah, I like it to be the other direction. So what was 0, I want to make 200. So 200 for that one. And then this one would be my 0 mark without a foot symbol. And then this one would also be 200. And the foot mark, and then 400. All right, so there's that one, and the other one was one that was off to the side here. So yeah, see whatever has caused that, it is probably related to this. When we set this up, it changed the annotation scaling, and I think that might be controlled here. Actually, let me take a quick peek. If we set dimension scale to drawing scale, no, that shouldn't have done it. If we
Set annotated drawing scale?
that's what I was wondering, but it wasn't checked on, so.
It's checked on now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just checked it on.
Oh.
So anyway, so we've got that. And if we were to change this to, let's say 100, all right, so see what has happened there. That's on a layer. That's on boundary. Yeah, need to put it on the right layer. There we go. All right, well, that didn't do it that time. I don't know what, I want to put this back to 200. 200. All right. Well, I'm not sure, Mike. I think until we can figure out that process, once you have one of these drawings that has this stuff, you know, that we have it like, you know, you could open up another drawing, one that we knew that worked, that we got everything happy with, and then we could go into this little bit, and we have the two different drawings. You have the one drawing here, the other drawing, and we would find a layout from that other one and drag it into this new one. Let me let you see how to do that. Go back up to your file menu and pull that down to where you see those list of recent files down in the bottom. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
One of those that you know was good, go ahead and choose it to open it. And okay, so there's everything. I see the bar scale. Let's see your PE stamp. Is it down there too? Yep, that looks good. All right, now that is a layout called Final Plat. Now we want to get that layout into your other drawing. Okay. So if you go to what everybody thinks of as the layer manager, it's actually the drawing explorer. It's that button right there. There you go. And you see there's two drawings over there in the left-hand column. There's two drawings listed. One of them is expanded. Go ahead and expand the other one. That's your other drawing that's open, but the current drawing is the one that's bold and black.
Yeah.
So if you're in that current drawing, go ahead and click on the layouts category, which is on down a little bit more right there. So we click on that, and there's that one called Final Plat. Now with the other drawing that is not active, but you opened it up, you expanded it so you can see the categories. Go up here now to this one and click on Final Plat over on the right-hand set. Right there, just click that. And now drag it and drop it on the category name of that other drawing.
Category name, what's the category name? Layout?
Yes, it's called layouts. See, you wouldn't put this on blocks or layers or textiles. This is a layout, so you're going to put it on a layout. So go ahead and choose that. Yep, let that up. Now, you can close this. Yeah, before you do, go ahead and click on the layouts category in that upper part so you can make sure that you see now you have two layouts.
Yeah.
One called Final Plat, one called Survey Plat. Well, that's fine. All right, so now you can close this off and you can close that drawing tab, and no need to save it. You didn't make any changes. And now look down at the bottom of where your tabs are and choose that Final Plat. Now you see that's got all of those elements that were from there. So that sometimes is an easier way to get that accomplished. Now we don't know what size is that paper. For instance, if you right click that tab, just go down at the bottom where the tab is and just right click Final Plat and choose Page Setup Manager. And we look at that and I see that that's your 18 by 24, right? So that's what your county requirements are. And this is actually, that would actually be an 18 by 24. And if that's what they're wanting, we need to use that instead of 17 by 22.
Okay.
Probably. So let's close that and let's consider using this one. instead of the other one. What does their bar scale up there say? You zoom in, what is their scale setting? That's also the same setting. Now those are just text attributes. You know, we can change those things around. So if you click on or double click the or even just select it. No need to double click it. Just select it, and then wait a minute. Is it? Yeah, just click it. There you go. Now over in the properties, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the properties box. See where it says 0 feet. So this is going to be left to right is the dim 1, dim 2, dim 3, dim 4. So let's select that 0, 1 in this column and let's type 200 and a foot mark. And then for dim 2, let's just put the number 0. And then dim 3, you get the idea. Make that 200 and a foot mark. And then 400 and a foot mark. And I'll just click off of it anywhere. There you go. All right. All right. So here you've got some things that you probably won't need. I mean, you'll need some notes and stuff like that, and this north arrow, which is just simply rotated based on that last item. But you've got see, these are things I think. Let me see if is that no, that's actually in your. You think those things in your drawing? In the model space? Yeah, they're there. Yeah, there we go. So you've got some other stuff here. Now, were you aware that this was in your drawing?
No, I have no idea what it is.
That's stuff from that other plat.
Yeah.
See, like you've got, see. You got points in it and everything. So I would say we want to, I just wonder. I'm just wondering if that came from us bringing that layout in. I don't think so.
Well, it wasn't there before because when I started this job, I did a zoom all and deleted everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Let's let me try something here. I'm going to do a save as. Go ahead and go to your, is this the folder that you, yeah, that looks like it. Let's click right here and we're just going to say, we'll call that temp for right now. And let's open. Where was the 2106? Is this our?
What are you looking for?
This, it's this one. All right, so now if I do a zoom extents, yeah, see that's actually in this file, but those other things weren't.
Well, that shouldn't be in it either because I didn't use, I used a template, not that file to start with.
what was the template that you used?
It was merger template, I believe, is what it's called, or boundary survey template, one or the other.
Okay. All right. I've got a suspicion about that for a second here. Let me, I'm going to need, I need about 5 minutes here, Mike. I've got to take care of something here for Diane upstairs real quick. So just hang on the line. I'll pause the recording. There we go. So this would not have caused the those blocks
to come from.
Yeah, well, that's what we were trying to find out. And I think it could be that it's in that template that you started with.
Okay, should I open a new drawing and use that template and see if it's there?
Yes, let's do that. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it in the same file that we're in. I'm just going to call it trash.
Yep, it's fine. All right. Yeah, okay. That looks good. Now. Yeah, see, I see right now there's points in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we never erased the points from the template. And that's all what I do when I first go in is go to here and delete.
All right, now.
Do another zoom all. And
Well, yeah, you should do a zoom extents as opposed to zoom all. And now the other thing too, though, there could be something. It could be something on a frozen layer, or if you type select, hit enter, and then type the word all, hit enter. All right, so it found. Yeah, see, there's something. Just hit enter there. Should be fine. Let's see. The first thing I would do is on this particular thing that came in here. Let's go back to this model tab for a minute. I want to make sure that I've got, like, if I've got any layers that are frozen, and if I tried to erase everything, so I'm going to turn thaw and turn on all, and then I'm going to double click the wheel just to do a zoom extents. Looks like everything's on and set. Now I'm going to erase, and I say select, and I'm going to type all. So 103 entities not in the current space. That means it's over on the merger plat paper space. So it won't touch those, but there are, 139 entities. So
we need to go back and fix the templates.
Yeah. So now we've gotten rid of that, and it says now, okay, warning, coordinate file not found, see, it's trying to link to this coordinate file based on what was in that template as well. So, and that's not any problem. It's just telling you that. So right now your points you've already got, your coordinate file says trash.crd. If you list your points, there should be 0 points. So everything's good there. So that's now there. And we look at our merger plat, and we should not see anything inside of this other than what's in paper space. These are things that were just positioned here in paper space. So that part's all well and good. Now, if we come back to our drawing, you may have some layers. Let me double check if you've got it.
The temp drawing, right?
Yeah, it's the one that I did a save as.
Right.
So if I look at, all right, so you've got like AT&T parcel is frozen.
Yeah.
Let me see what we do have.
I've got some plats down there that are frozen.
All right, so you've got these that are frozen. Now, so what I'm going to do so that we can set this back the way it's supposed to be is that's going to be called a layer state. And that's this category over here on the left. And so I'm going to make a layer state, and I'm going to call it, well, I don't want to say current because that sounds like a system generated one. Let's just say for Plat printing. Okay, so that's SHEPP. We got to spell Plat right. Ken, come on. All right, so now we have this as a layer state which holds the condition of all those layers. I said new, it's in my layer state, it's going to stay there. Now I'm going to go back. I'll just close this off, and I'm going to turn on and thaw, and that's this button right here, thaw and on. It's also on the view menu. Thaw and on all layers. So all of that stuff came on. Now that looks like everything there is the full extent of your work. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So what you want to do now, because we zoom way out, you see there's all kinds of other stuff in this drawing, probably a straight point or something down there. So let's go back. We see where we are. That's where our goods are, right in there. Yeah. So we want to erase everything outside of that immediate area, and that's on our edit menu. So we want to choose edit and erase, and then erase outside. Okay. Now it's going to prompt you for corners. You're going to give it a lower left and an upper right. Just make sure, and it can, yeah, that's fine. Just click there and go up to the right. Make sure you got everything in it that you want to keep, and that's good. And now you see it found a bunch of stuff and got rid of it. Let's see, what do we got? It's just also telling you it can't find that 2012 Crawford.crd because those were those points that did. Now, if you either do a zoom extents by command or double click the wheel on the mouse, which is the same thing either way, there you go, that's got it. Now, if you look at your final plat tab at the bottom, you should not see those things in there. Yeah, there you go. It's just the things that are drawn. Okay, so that's getting somewhere. Now we know that there's stuff in that file that we need to get rid of in that other thing that we're using for a template. So until we can set that up, let me give you a workflow recommendation. I think for now, Mike, you have a drawing that you like that's good to go. I would just open it and then do a save as.
And what do I do about the coordinate file?
Well, you can always, when you do a, I see what you're saying, because you're going to inherit those points. when you bring up a well, yeah, because then you're going to have to erase points from the drawing that aren't in your file and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe. All right, let's keep your workflow like it is, and let's open that. Go ahead and close that trash.dwg up there, and let's open that drawing template that you've been using. So no need to save it. So we're going to file open.
We probably need to look at all of those templates.
Yeah, probably. All right, so now here's what you want to do. Yeah, go ahead and choose the browse button, and then down there where it says files of type, all right, it's showing DWT, so that's fine. So those are all good, but now navigate to wherever those are stored. We don't know where those are stored necessarily.
I think they're on C drive.
Yeah, but they're down deep in a. They're down deep. Hold on a second. Let me see. There's a.
Well, you put them there wherever they are.
Yeah, it's here. Let me show you. This is going to be where they are. If I look at my IntelliCAD options, templates, there it is. So they're in user, SHEPP, app data roaming, Carlson software. So if I just copy that, and now if I open, I'm going to go up here. Oops, I'll just say browse, and I'll go up down here rather, and say paste, so that puts me in that folder. There we go. And so now I've got, let's sort by type, and we should come down here and see some DWTs at some point. There we go. So I've got these.
Okay, the ones that we created are concept, minor subdivision, sample 8.5 by 11, and survey. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else there below that. I don't think. Let me
Right.
down.
Yeah,
That's
I think.
it.
Yep. So if we take let's look at them just one by one real quick. We'll take that. Let's say open. Oh, this is a lovely drawing, I remember. And if we go back to our model space now, let's see, we have a lot of good stuff that we could borrow from. So we've got all of the layers and definitions and such. The problem is we've got points. Yeah, see, there's a number of points. Now we could erase the points. I'm trying to decide here, Mike, how much of this I want to preserve.
Well, I've done one concept in the last year, so I don't think it's.
Yeah. that lets us know, you know, we've got all the style definitions, the layer definitions, all of that stuff where it's going to be here. But if I get rid of all this, let's do that. Oh, even before that, let me let's see, do that, and let's do this. Yeah, so I thought there was some other stuff there too. And I want to save this as let's call it concept 2 for now. Oh, by the way, before we forget, I want to go back to this drawing. I'm going to go back to that layer states, and I'm going to restore that. So I'm going to click on layer states. I'll just click here, and you can either choose the checkbox or double click it, either one. So when we do that now, and we look at our layers, you should see, remember those ones that were frozen?
Yeah.
It didn't restore. Let me see here. Let's go back to layer states. I guess you have to double click it. You can't necessarily just say, is that right? So now, if I sort by freeze, oh, come on. So I undo. Okay, now this layer state. Same as drawing. No, that's what it should be. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what I want right there. All right, that's the one I want. So if I double click it, it's restored. Now if I look at my layers, doesn't make any sense. I edit that. All right, so there they are. They're frozen. So that's what I want it to be. Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. I know. I think it's done it, but I need to be here to see that condition. All right, so back to layer states. Now it's restored. And now, there it is. Okay, good. Whew. Starting to go a little bit suspicious here on this stuff. All right, so that's now put everything back the way we had it for that. Now let's we'll save that again. That's the dash temp, and we're going to open again now. We're going to browse, and we're still in our support folder. So I'm going to come down here and just type star.dwt so it filters what I see. And there was concept and concept 2. We're going to take minor sub final. We'll open that. And that had a similar situation. Out here, we turn everything on and thawed. We'll erase everything and we'll save as. We'll come back to there and see that's empty. That's good.
Why are you using a save as instead of just a save?
Well, just so that we can go back to that if we ever need it, because it had those things that were there are good to copy from if you need them in your model space in your other file. So it just keeps us a repository of what we've got. So I'm just going to use these as a -2. And if you'll use those as you start brand new blank drawings, we should be in good shape. All right, so once more to that, here, I'm going to let you do this part. If you go to File, Open, or just click the folder button, either one. And you're in the folder already up there where you need to be. So hit your Browse button to navigate to it. And you see that folder at the top's good. You can, if you don't want to scroll all the way to the bottom there, down where it says file name, you can put *DWT, or you may be able to pull, or you may be able to pull down over here on the side where it says files of type. You may, there you go. Just pull down and choose that. Okay. Go ahead and click that. Now it's only going to show you the templates and of course folders. So we've gotten through minor subdivisions. So let's do the sample 8x11. Okay. And say open. And I would go to the model space. And first, let's turn on all the layers. Up all the way to the right. No, too far. Right there. Yeah. All right. So now they're on, and now just type erase, hit enter, and type all, and hit enter. And enter one more time. There you go. Click back on your layout tab at the bottom, just so that's where it sits when you save it, and then do a save as, and put a 2 in this one. Yeah, just a -2, and there you go. And then close that, and yeah, there you go. And then do the last one for the last thing. That's the bottom one. There you go. Okay. So you see, that's one of the things that we were starting to do, is to sort of build a legend table and stuff that we could borrow from, but you know, we can always reconstruct
We
it.
have a better
Actually,
one than that.
yeah, and actually, there's a separate way that that's stored anyway, so that doesn't matter. All right, so
Erase
let's,
all.
well, make sure your layers are all on and thawed.
Okay.
There you go. And now erase, enter and all, enter, and enter one more time. There you go. Back to your merger plat tab and save as. Perfect. Okay, now you can close that tab. And so now go ahead and start a new drawing real quick. Let me show you something else too that I saw when you did your other one, that you could save a little bit of time in navigation. See down there it says use a template. That's fine. Hit next. Now at this point you had hit the browse button.
Yeah.
So instead of doing it, if you pull that arrow down, there you go. You see they're there. So that way you can tell it, you know, I want to use those. I want to use that same line work that was blah, blah, blah. You could go open that up if you want, or, you know, you can always, even if you start with one that's blank and you want to go back and borrow something from that drawing, you can just open that other DWT as a second drawing, and you can copy and paste between drawings. Okay. Remember how we did that with the clipboard copy?
Yes.
As opposed to a CAD copy. That's only when you're copying entities from a location to a different location. To go between drawings, you do it through the clipboard. So, okay, so there you go. So cancel that. You don't need to go through with this. I just wanted to show you that little quick step. All right, so now you should be good to go there. Our final plat has the size that we wanted. That's the 18 by 24. It's got that larger left-hand border for binding.
Drawing is going to fit in this area.
It will not. So we're going to need to rearrange a couple of things here. So I would take, first of all, select your notes, and you're going to need to go up and grab that line that's underneath it as well. And is the title a separate piece of text? Zoom in there. I can't tell if it's selected or not. Okay, there, you got it all now. So you've got that. I would just, you know, drag it off to the right, get it off the page for now. But just, yeah, just click, hold, and drag, or you can move either one. There you go. So I just put that over there, and we'll come back to those if we need it. Now do the same thing for your north arrow. And there may be, I guess there's two pieces of text there as well. So either draw a window around it or do a crossing through it. So get all those. You don't have to be so careful. There's nothing else there. There you go. Now you're going to have to disregard that visibility. Let me see a second if we can do. Oh, you know what? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, just move that up to the side there as well. We'll straighten it out here in a minute. Do this before you do that. If we set, there's a variable I want to set called selection anode display, and we're going to turn it off. For some reason, AutoCAD thinks people want to see all that crap when you select this stuff. Remember all those ghosted images?
Yeah.
So, you know, when that variable is on, see, and part of it, I see all that.
Yeah.
Part of the reason for that is because they were showing that was giving you feedback as a user that, okay, I've got this set for different sizes. But hopefully by now we're comfortable enough with it that we know that we have. And really, to me, it's just confusing as hell. So if we turn that off, now I think that will stick across multiple drawings. I don't think that's something that stores in each drawing file. I think it'll stick. So that's there. Now, one thing I'll do with this as well, just to reset this, I'm going to rotate that. I think unless this has a rotation property, position X, Y, and Z. I don't, oh, here it is. So north 73 east, we typically, and I'll show you something that is sort of confusing here. You would think that should be north, okay? But the reason north made that go to the left like that is because that block is defined pointing to the east. East is 0, okay, in CAD speak. Now we know east is to the right, but it's the 0 rotation away from the X axis. So that's what 0 rotation is. It's an east bearing. That's why if you noticed on some text, when it asks you for a rotation, it comes up by default and says east. Well, that's what it's doing. So we've now reset that to be whatever it is, and we'll match that if we wind up having to do any kind of if we do any kind of a screen twist, we'll match it after the fact. So I'm going to now take these, and they have a rotation here as well. But if I say 0 here, they're going to go horizontal. Okay, because this is a piece of text. So if I say east, just like we did on the north arrow, see what it does there. But so that's because the text is defined horizontally when it's created, and its orientation is to the east, so that gives it no rotation. So I really want that. If I wanted it to match my north arrow, I would make it south, and then I would just snug it up here, you know, wherever I would normally want to see it. Okay, so we'll use that once we need to. You know, we'll bring it back in and make it go. All right. So give you back the steering.
Move these other notes.
Yeah, I would move those things off to the side. Yeah, there you go. And anything and everything you want to sort of you want to drag away, but you want to keep it at its same normal relative size. You don't want to break stuff apart. So like that's, yeah, there you go. Make sure you got it all, and then move that and keep it all together. Perfect. Yep, you got it. And then some of those things you're not even going to use, but you know there'll be something that right now you just want to get stuff out of your way.
Okay, this I know it's going to have to move somewhere.
Yeah, but there's all, that's not only just the bar scale, but it's also the piece of text under it that says scale in feet. We added that. There you go. That should do it. And your final, all that final plat and all that kind of stuff, we may change some text sizes on that later. That's a field. And right now, I think what we were starting to set up was if you double click it, just so that we're editing it. And let's see, what does it say? It's looking for Yeah, if you, all right, double click. Yeah, double click in that. Does it do? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, see what it's trying to do? It's trying to set a value from the drawing. And right now it's looking, yeah, I've got all these different categories. So what we were initially starting to set up, we were trying to automate this so that, you know, if we knew that it was always going to take the name of the sheet, for instance, or the date that it was created, some kind of property, or you also have these drawing properties that you can set up. You've got all of the general properties. You've got, you could give it a title, a name, there's your author, you can add to it. You got some various statistics, and then you've got this custom stuff where you could add anything. You could say, you know, you call that the school district if you were working on a lot of stuff, and then you could give it a default value, and we'll, you know, ramp Hannock, L high, you know, whatever. Okay, so you would store that with your drawing, and then when you're, we would have set that to read the value of the field, and I'm going to choose this, and it's either going to be document or other. Let's see, comments. I say by. Let's look under other. No, it's not there. Maybe under all. And what do we call it? School district. There it is. So there's my school district, and you know, you can change the different way it's presented, and we'd say okay, and then it fills that out. So if this is set to always look for that as a variable, as a field, when you're first setting up your drawing, you would come in here and say, you know, maybe even where was my, let's see, drawing utilities, drawing properties. You would maybe, you know, instead of school district, maybe it would be, you know, project number or sheet title, you know, anything and everything that you wanted to set up to be. And you just basically give this a placeholder. And for now, you know, we would maybe just call that XXXXX, and we say, okay. And then when we first come into it, or as soon as we do a regen, there it is, okay? If that, or when that value changes, back to my drawing properties, and now I put in there for that one, it was, you know, my school district was Plumboro. And I say, okay. And then as soon as it regenerates, it fills it out. It's all automatic. So what we were trying to do at the initial stages when we were creating this was to come up with some things that were going to always be on every sheet, like here, this Harpers Ferry district. That's something that's probably, you know, that's a jurisdictional district that's probably on every project that you do that has a final plat, correct?
Well, every project that's in Harpers Ferry District,
Oh, okay.
like the project I'm working on right now, is in Middleway District.
Yeah. So, you know, you would have maybe let's leave that as district, but this, we're going to say, we're going to insert a field, and the field we're going to insert in this, that we'll call it school district for now. Let's delete. There we go. Now insert. And we would put that in like so and leave it like that. And then when see, where's our drawing utilities? Our drawing properties. We would actually, let's call that, what kind of, school, I want to rename. Actually, let me delete that and add, it's just called a district.
Yes.
And we'll call that XXX by default. And we'll say, okay. And when we edit that field, it's the district. And then this one, I'm going to highlight that and just put additional title line, and just as text. Right now it's just text. But so now, though, whatever this district is, when you first come in, and now there's ways, you see this scripting here, we're not going to do it today, but we can actually have a little script that every time you start a new drawing, it's going to go through and take you into these areas, and it's going to ask you these questions, like what district are you in? And it's going to fill all this stuff out for you. So this one would be, what'd you say it was? Not
Middleway.
Millway?
MIDD.
Or Middleway. Yeah,
Middleway.
MID. All right, so that'd be Middleway, and that's all I need to do is to say that, and then whenever it's goes now.
Aren't the letters in Middleway bigger than the letters in district?
No, it's a bit of an illusion because that gray is around it.
Okay.
See, if you look at if
That's
I
okay. I'll take your word for it.
yeah, so if you draw, say I'm at the bottom of the D, and there I'm coming across the bottom of that.
Yeah.
And so it's just the illusion because it's a field, and because we've told the system to show me fields by using a little highlighted background, that's a flag to me. It doesn't print with that. It doesn't print gray behind it. That's just telling me that that's a field. All right. Anyway, that's where that came from. No big deal. You can always, when you edit this text, you can erase all that stuff and get rid of the fields and just use regular text. So I think one of the other ones that we used, as a matter of fact, I think we set all of that stuff up as a big block of M text instead of each individual lines of text. So none of that is of critical urgency today. Now this final plat, that's a pretty big size piece of text. It's a third of an inch.
Okay, well, let's worry about that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to have you come back on Monday if you're willing to help me with stuff like that. But for now, let's just get the drawing set up so I can work on it from now until Monday.
Yep, absolutely. So take all of those other things and that you need to get out of your way, like like maybe even where'd it go? Yeah, so we would take those things and just put them out there so you can come back to them later. Now this kind of stuff you probably would need to leave in there where they are. So let's see what we can do with that. And we're going to come here and come down to grab everything that is there. Let's see, and we had a little bit of an inset there. Okay, so I'm going to move that stuff out of the way. And again, just doing it for now. And then this stuff, do you have any adjoiners and such on this job? You're going to need probably, so let's keep that. And we're just going to move them up here out of the way. Okay, now, we're going to need to set that viewport to be where we want it and at the scale that we want it. And if you select that red frame, you see that it, when you select it, you'll see that it, over in the properties, you see it tells you it's a viewport.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to resize it to sort of, you know, give us the maximum size that we're going to need. And so I think you probably need that space to the left of it that for the vicinity map, or we might actually be able to sort of superimpose it. And I think that's going to be probably what we need to do. So let's drag this all the way down, grab that corner and stretch it down. And yeah, keep going down there until you get near that corner. No need to snap to it. Just give a little bit of inset. There you go, just like that. Just like that. And do the same thing on the right at the top. Go over toward the right. Okay. And now select it again and look at your properties and see it's going to be locked, although we resized it, but we need to maybe go down now and change the scale of it. So scroll down, we see it's already set for 200, so we don't need to change that. That part's fine. We do, however, need to unlock it where it says display locked. Change that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change that to no, or there's also, there's one of the things, yeah, you see the padlock over there on those buttons, third from the left, third from the left, right there. That's also how you can do it. If you select it, that's okay. So now it's unlocked. Now go into, so we don't know where in the world that is pointing right now. So double click inside it. And now you see there's a rotation that's applied to it.
Yes.
And that's as if you're in the model space and you've given it a different user coordinate system. So the first thing let's do is let's set it back to plan view. And you can either do that with the view menu and choose your twist screen, or just type the word plan, either way. So we hit enter and it said we're going to use W for world. Okay, now we also want to type UCS, enter, and let's make sure we are going to be on the world user coordinate system. So hit enter again to set world. So now we are in the world coordinate system. We are, our viewport is aligned with it. Now our crosshairs are sort of weird, so we got to reset that. And that we'll do on the view menu. And where do we have, go back. If you just type restore due north, it will do that. Yeah, just like, no, back where you were up under twist screen, right there. If you just say restore due north, that will reset it. And just just enter is fine. Okay, so see how it reset that. There's also a command, I think, or there used to be anyway, under here, under settings, there it is, crosshairs. Yeah, see that you can do it that way too. But either way. All right, so now we have set everything, but you'll notice our scale is now all goofy. So we're still in our viewport. So let's pan the drawing so that it is, like I suspect you don't need those points up at the top of the screen to show necessarily. You just wanted the, okay. So pan that to where that's sort of centered into, no, center it in the viewport first. Sort of just eyeball center it so that it's going to be where it needs to be in the middle. Now, go ahead and double click outside of the viewport so you're back in the paper space. Now select the viewport and go over to the properties, and now we need to reset that to 1 to 200. So scroll down. See, its annotation scale is 1 to 200, but the standard scale, we need to set that to 200. There we go. Okay, scroll that down to, there you go, perfect. Okay, and but it didn't seem to take. Try that again where it says custom. Just like you did. For whatever reason, it didn't stick. I don't know. 1 inch equals 200 feet. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now you see how it's clipped a little bit?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go back now, and still with it unlocked, we're going to double click inside it. And being, no, hold on a second. We got to come back to that. Okay, now double click inside the viewport. Okay, now very carefully without rolling the wheels, because you don't want to change the scale, but you want to pan the drawing. See if you can get those corners to be within the frame. There you go, just like that. And get as much of what you need to be in there. And if it's helpful to scoot anything, you know, to one side, like if you're, you know, you're going to have room for the title block and all those different things. So just arrange that the way it needs to be seen, and you'll be in good shape. All right. So if that's where you like it, how you want it, double click back outside of it.
Well, am I gonna have room for the title block down here?
Yeah, I mean, you can lay the title block right over top of that. You know, that's no, that won't clip out the title block. The
Okay.
title block can lay right over top of it. So same with that inset map, the location map. So let's select that viewport now and lock it.
Should I check the scale again to make sure I didn't move the?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I see that it's looking good. So then go over there and hit your double click your padlock right there. And okay, that's good. Now it hit the save button at some point. Okay. Now, you know, you're gonna, first of all, by the way, Mike, that viewport,
yeah,
it's rectangular, and there's a reason that they're preferred is because you can, you know, you can select it and you can change it by stretching the corners, and you can move it around, and that moves the, you know, if I move this, that everything inside it's going to go with it. It's all going to be fine, but it doesn't have to be rectangular. You can draw a polyline and sort of, you know, outline your way around things if you ever need to. You know, and in fact, if there was junk down here that you didn't want to see, or if you don't want to see this up here, then you could put a little, you know, a jog in this shape. It could be a polyline of any shape, and
okay.
that could be made into the viewport. But for now, I think you've got what you need to do to be able to start working on it. Okay.
Okay.
And you can see if we, let's just, I'm going to copy this. And the reason I'm going to copy it is just because I'm going to see how it sits in there in relation to your, now see how that's lying over top of that viewport?
Yeah.
And that's okay. And so I put it right back where it goes, and that's the size that original was, and that should be fine. But that gives you something that you don't want to put any kind of annotation over here and then move this into place and say, oh man, I got to move it now. So I would maybe position things in that you know you're going to have, like you don't know how big your notes are going to be, or even if there's going to be that many. So that, you know, your notes maybe can go up here, maybe wider and really shallow, or down here. It's just however you want to do it. I'll let you, you know, make those decisions. But this has got your scale for you, and you know, ready to go, ready to be set. Now, if you look at that survey plat layout tab, the one to the left of the final plat. There you go. Now, is there anything on there that you think you may need?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what we did up here. That was just a PDF, okay. Whereas over here, this is, it's also a PDF, I think, but yeah, it's a PDF. So, you know, we'll figure out how to set that up when the time comes to get it finished. Because there's a number of different ways, and as long as, if you're in state plane, we can get that aerial like we did on this other side over here.
Right.
All right, and now the last thing I would do is we want to set a couple of variables here to control our line style spacings. So we want to type first of all, type PSLT scale. And hit enter, and we want to make sure that's either on or one. That is on, that's correct. Just hit enter and type MSLT scale.
NS as in
M as in model space. There you go. LT
MS.
scale. Yeah, MSLT scale and no, LT. MSLT, not NT. There you go. Yep, and make sure that's on, it is. And then we'll finally type LT scale to set the global scale factor to 1. That's already done. Okay, good. Now, you want to check one more variable, and I think it's already set probably, but it's sort of a longish one. It's called P line gen. GEN. There it is, and hit enter, and that's on. Good. All right, so we're in good shape. Now, one of the things that I see up here, I'm inside this thing now, and if I select this polyline,
yeah,
I see it has a particular line style, but that it was only up here. I didn't see it down here. So I would suspect it has a line style of by layer. So whatever boundary has assigned to that line style, that could be correct. But because, you know, it goes from this point to this point to this point to this point, it looks to me like when that happened, you see, there wasn't enough distance until you got to from here to here. There's enough distance there to show the pattern, but everything else is too little. Mm-hmm. So my suspicions are that that was a polyline that was created without the line type generation on, and I select it and I see that in fact, right down here, it says no. Even though P line gen is set to be on, if it is off when the line is created, it stays off and you have to individually set the lines. So I'm going to make that one yes, and then do a regen all. And now you see how that pattern flows through the corners.
Yeah. And
the same thing would do for this one. So anything that you want the pattern to flow through disregarding the corners, you want to set its line type generation to 0 or to yes, to true. Now that looked like, is there maybe 2 lines in there? Ah, that's a separate line. That's why that starts over and this starts over.
Okay.
Because that
needs to be joined.
There you go. And you know how to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, anyway, that'll do that.
Weight looks okay.
I'm thinking maybe not, but I also, let's see, yeah, your line weight is turned off. So first of all, select the line itself and make sure that, you know, select one of the lines, make sure that look at its properties, and you see where it says line type scale. No, not that. I'm sorry. Line weight. Line weight says by layer. So you want to make sure that they are going to be by layer. If it has something other than that, if it has a number in there, then that means it has been specifically set for that line, regardless of other things on that layer. But as long as it is by layer, we're in good shape. So because we're in this viewport, if we look at the layer dialog box, the layer manager, just like we did, like we could do globally, we could set that. Now that would set it globally. You don't need to worry about setting it globally necessarily, because you could set it individually in each viewport. So you could go over to the right a little bit further and you see where you've got all of those things are repeated. You can change the line style, you can change the weight, the color, you can freeze it in the viewport and not have it frozen globally. There you go. So right now you see it's set to the same line style, which is good. And there's the VP line weight is set to default. So I would pull it down there and change it to, some other thing that you might want to look at, maybe 0.4. Okay. And
why is that box there?
I don't know. I think it's just a vestige of the Zoom graphics. All right, now, so that's been done within the viewport. So you're going to need to regen. Yeah, and let's see. I zoom in there. Oh, here's the other thing. Your points are going to be that same line weight too, probably, if they're on the same boundary layer. So if I look at that, that's also on layer boundary, and it has a line weight of by layer. So maybe, yeah. Here's what I was getting at. If I'm in there and it didn't change. That's what I thought. So if I do this, there now it's, and it's, all right, so that gets heavier, but you notice the circles got heavier as well.
Yeah.
So just be aware, because they're set to by layer. Now if I select similar and bring those to the front, I would do the same thing for this one. Anyway, you remember how to do that. Just make sure that if that's the intent. So let's say if I wanted to make that layer or that property line, if I needed to make that really nice and heavy, and here's the two different approaches. I can do it by layer. So let's come down here. Let's say I needed to make that, really, really nice and juicy. All right. So, but you see what happens is those point circles get to be too big.
Yeah.
So the alternative then is to, instead of making that by layer and having everything on that layer change, I would go back to that, set my by layer back to default, probably be good. And then I would set these lines individually. So I would come down here and maybe set those to be, and then regen all. And you see how they get big, but the points stay small.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I would, certainly generate a plot and test it and see if it's too much or if it's too little. And then, of course, if you do this join nearest, I think it takes the last one. Yeah. And then we need to put that, back underneath. So anytime you do anything that changes that geometry, like joining, it's going to need to be reset. As far as the draw order, because it basically, when you do an edit like that, it creates a new entity. It's if you just drew it and it goes in last on top. All right, so I think you know how to finish those parts. So I would, any of those things you need to change there. If it's not something that makes sense to do it for everything on the layer, just change them individually. If it is, and keeping in mind when you're here, let's say you had to do 3 or 4 other different views, but you wanted it in the other view, maybe you're showing topographic, you're showing contours, and that's the main intent, and you don't need to show the boundary line. You just want to make them lightweight and gray, maybe a continuous line. Now you wouldn't necessarily, but so you go into each individual viewport and you can go here and come over to the, whatever layers you're looking at. And if you change it here, it changes it everywhere. But then when you go over here, if you're in a viewport, these other controls come up, and you've got all of those things that you can change the color and everything. Of course, our colors all revert to black, except for that viewport color because of the color table in the plotting. You can change the line style. So if you want the line styles over here in globally to be something else, you can do all of that. Okay. So now we're still in there. I'm going to double click back outside of it, and we'll save that. And if there's nothing here that you need on this sheet, you could.
Well, some of the notes I'll need. Oh no, one on the survey plat. Yeah.
I mean, you've got some notes here too.
Right.
No,
but what I was getting from the survey plat.
So if there's nothing over here that you need, there's no need to go in here and select everything and delete it. You can just point to it with the mouse down there where the mouse is sitting, right click and choose delete, and it'll take the whole sheet out. Okay, and now you've got
time to look at one other thing.
Yes, sir. Make sure you save that, and then and also remember, when you go back to work on this, do a quick. There it is. I wanted to do a regen because the graphic up in the corner looked like it was all black. I just want to make sure that that was it's in good shape. And that was just a refresh issue. There you go.
Okay, the engineering company sent me, as a courtesy, sent me a Topo. They had their own Topo flown.
Okay.
And they sent me a copy of it.
All right.
And they also sent me an ortho photograph.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
And it would be helpful to me if I can bring that into my model space and look at it, but be able to turn it on and off.
Sure. Yeah.
I got Topo into the same file, and I'm wondering if is there a way I can put it on a layer or something that I can turn on and off?
Absolutely. And that's the right approach, the right way to think. Now notice your boundary lines. Remember, we set them up nice and fat.
Yeah.
That's because, well, yeah, maybe so, but like if you want to do this here in the model space, if you want to get that out of your way, down at the bottom where your buttons are, on the status bar, just double click that one. It looks like a piano keyboards over there to the right, next to the word model. Just double click that, and that toggles whether or not you see the line weight.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. So yeah, let's
just on the model, not on the. Oh, does it on the final plat too?
Well, yeah, but when when you're on the final plat, turn them back on so you can see it. And
okay, so I saved the Topo. I haven't figured out how to download the photo yet.
Yeah.
But I can get us to it, and you probably will
Okay,
know how to download it.
sure, sure.
But the
Let's take a look.
topo is already saved in this same Carlson file.
Okay, it's in here now.
Yes.
Okay, and
Not
it's on a layer.
in the folder, not in
Oh,
this
in the
job.
folder. Gotcha, gotcha. Well, okay. So the first thing let's do is let's set up a couple of layers to hold these. So let's go to our layer manager. We'll just do a new layer, and let's call it either image underscore topo, and then the next one we'll call image underscore aerial, or something like that, that we know exactly what it is. We start them with the same name so we can find them quickly. So yeah, just hit enter, or yeah, hit enter to finish, and do the same thing with the next one, image aerial. And that way we can just turn the whole thing on and off as we need. Yep. Perfect. And whichever one you want to bring in first, go ahead and make that current. There you go. That'll be good. Just close the, close the big box. There you go. All right, so we're sitting on that layer. We need to bring it into our stuff. Now, the first thing, I'm looking at your coordinates down on your status line. It looks like you are in state plane.
Yes,
It would be nice and useful if their stuff they sent you was in state plane.
They are. They
Okay.
set the control for their own aerial flight, and I tied into each one of them, and I checked into them in 200 or 300 every time.
Damn, Mike, it's pretty sloppy work, isn't it?
So I feel very comfortable that we're on the same.
Good. Yeah, good deals. Good deals. Okay, so so what we want to do, we can do it two ways. Well, I can actually do it several ways. We can insert that. Did they send you a DWG, or is it a?
Yeah, it's something.
Okay, so
DWG for the topo.
You're right. All right. So we can insert that as a block and leave it as a block, or we can insert it as a block and explode it so we get the individual lines if we need to manipulate them. That's always good. However, here's the best approach to that is let's bring it in as an external reference file. We're going to externally reference this, and we'll leave it as an XREF so we can turn the whole file on and off, but it's going to be different. We're going to have another sort of way to do it. So you can either type the word XREF and hit enter, or go back to your layer manager, and I'll show you where it is there as well. That's I'd rather you get used to using that. Yep.
It won't be a layer that I can turn on and off.
Well, it will be, because it's gonna go in ultimately on the layer you're sitting on, but it's also gonna bring its own set of layers in. So if you need to turn on and off, let's say you wanted to turn off the contour labels but leave the contours on,
I see.
You have the control over it. Okay, so
right. References.
Yep. And then once you're there, you see right now we've got one loaded. It's a PDF. And there it is. Was it already there? Did you just do that, or was it already there? Oh, you know what that's from? That's in that template.
Yeah.
Remember that was where the big gridded sheets was. That was that stuff. So you can select that one that says topo and just delete it. Just select it, or right click and choose detach. And choose the first choice. You want to delete the record. There you go. So apply it now. So now up there, you just hit over on the new button, or you can right click and choose attach, either one.
That new item?
Yep. Yep. So now it's going to attach. So now find our file.
There it is.
Okay. So we select that, we hit open. And what happened? Oh, never mind. Sorry. This is, let's see, I was press escape up. I was wrong. All right, so now if I press, let me get out of that. It's trying to bring it in like a block. Dang on it. I don't want it to be a block. So back to this and back to external references. Yeah, so here, instead of doing the new button, right click the mouse and choose attach. See, it wound up being like an insert. So now we find that and we say open. And now, well, it's still going to do it this way. Okay, type 0,0 down at the command line. Hit enter. Scale factor of 1, hit enter. And same thing, enter and enter. Okay, so there that is. You can close that off and you should be able to see it behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your topo. Now, to turn that on and off, if you select it right now, just click any part of it. You see what it says it is in the properties? It says it's an external layer or external reference.
Right.
And it's on a layer called image topo. Now you can do one of two things. You can freeze the layer called image topo and that entire thing will go away.
Okay.
You also might want to make sure that it's on the bottom. So now that it's selected, right click and choose set draw order to the back. There you go. Just in case. All right. So now, so if you have that control, let's go back and look at the layer manager again, which is that, there you go. And if you scroll down, you're going to see some layer names show up that are there it is. See the Magazu Topo, and then that vertical line, then A-building dot footprint, all that kind of stuff. So those are the individual layers that are within that external reference file. So you can freeze and thaw and change colors and do all kinds of different things on this on an individual layer within that drawing file basis. So that's one thing you could do. All right. So now, if you click the external references category on the left, here's the other option. If you select that Magazu Topo, it's now up at the top, you can right click and choose unload. Now, not detach. So if you go down toward the bottom and just say unload, and now close this box, it's no longer visible. It's still there. And you would just go back to that, choose your X references, select it, right click and say reload, and it puts it on. Now the advantages to that might be, you know, it's the one above it, one above it. It's, you know, no, no. Up where you selected SD location map. Yeah, there you go. Now, so you want to say reload, and then that puts it back, and you can now just close it off. Okay. So now the advantages of doing that, as opposed to say freezing the layer image underscore topo, is let's say you've got other things on layer image topo that you want to keep showing, but you want to toggle this on and off. So there's that advantage as well by using an external reference file. Now, this business up here with this Drawing Explorer, where we chose the XREF category, which AutoCAD doesn't have that by itself, IntelliCAD does. But if I type XREF, this is what AutoCAD has. And you see it's got that one there listed. Now the PDF doesn't show up here because it has a separate command for PDFs. It's got another separate command for images. IntelliCAD rolls all that up into one. So you can do it either way. If you do it here, you can choose unload. You can choose reload. So whichever one of these that you're more comfortable with, certainly use. Let Okay, now the other thing is, and I'm going to take this, I'm going to go ahead and detach it here. And I'm going to show you the difference where we do this. When we did it with this layer manager, it prompted us for all of those insertion points, rotations, scales, and all that. When you do it from here and you choose attach, and there it is, it brings this up as if you are inserting a block, but we're going to uncheck these so that it takes those by default. And then we can tell it to use full path, relative path, no path, and that's how it stores it. It can be an attachment versus an overlay, which is just leave it by the default here. There's a little bit of a difference in how it does that layer naming. So we just say okay to that, and then it's going to pop right back in there and show you like that. So there it is. The very same thing was accomplished, just a little different approach, and it gives you a little different set of controls. Okay, so you can type XREF, and the same thing that we do by if you say PDF attach. See, that's that would be the same thing as if you did it from here under XREF and brought them in. And it's like I said, PDF is separate from XREF, and there's a PDF. There's not a PDF manager. I thought there was separate, but anyway, there's an image manager that's probably in there. Let's see, image manager. And when that runs, nope. Well, I don't know.
Okay, let's see if we can get the image in, the photo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's there. I would switch to that other layer now, the image photo as your current layer. So right above, yeah, right. Go over to the, well, you can do it that way too.
Okay, let me get out here and get to his email.
All right.
Okay, here's a link to the ortho photo. Okay, now can you see on the screen where it's popped up?
Yep. Yeah, so you've got a world file and a TIFF file. Perfect. You need both of those.
Okay.
So grab those, and now that's the TFW. So hit download, put that. Yeah, that's fine. Do a direct download. You're going to put that in your working folder. And right now it's going to wherever your downloads are going.
Okay.
All right. And now you want to go back and get that other one. Make sure you get the TFW. No, well, yeah, okay. Just go back. See up this arrow right here. You want to go back.
Okay.
Yeah. And now take that one, the TIFF file. And you want to download that one. There you go. Perfect. Okay, now it's going to happen. And then once that happens, we're going to find where those are being stored, most likely in your downloads folder. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
I know where they'll be.
Okay. So once you know where they are there, in fact, I see there's one there called Maguza parentheses 1.tfw.
Yeah.
That almost seems like it already had a copy there and it made a secondary copy of it. I'm not sure, and renumbered for you.
It might be. I tried to download it earlier and open it, and I couldn't get it to open.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now the TFW file, actually, believe it or not, is just a text file, but
Really?
it is it's a TIFF file world. And basically, it's a coordinate file, or that tells it the coordinates, the ground coordinates for the lower left or upper right, whichever one it is. I think it's lower left pixel of the image. And then it's got a line that gives the scale, how big is the image, how many ground units does it cover. So it's basically a way that we're going to use to insert into our drawing. And look like everything's finished. There we go. So you can close out of Dropbox now if you'd like. There you go. And yeah, just minimize that or do whatever. Yeah. Okay, so we've got, so go back to, go there and let's see where it goes. So it went there. Okay, so right now I see the Maguza parentheses 1.tfw. Rename that file. You want to make sure that it has the exact same name as the Maguza.tiff. So just right click rename and take out those last and take the space out. And there you go. Click off of that. And then select those two files and either copy them or yes. You do want to, oh, no, go back and rename it again. Okay, so now click off and yes. Now grab,
Put a 2 up there.
All right, let's try that one more time. Let's see, this is Windows trying to be helpful. All right, now click off and what does it say? Let me read it this time. All right, do you want to rename 2 to 3? And we say no. It says there's a file already in that location.
There's one down below here.
Ah, okay, so just
that's
say.
where I copied it earlier.
Gotcha, okay, so just say no to that. And that one up there that has the 2 in it, just delete it. Yeah, just there you go. Now, get that one there, that one and the TIFF file, and put them where we're going to be working with them. There you go. And you can cut and then paste whatever your preference to putting them where they go. Okay. Now, while you're here, click on the column heading that says type, so that you sort all these by the type. There you go. It makes it a little easier for me to see them. All right. Now, if you select that TFW file, right click that and choose open. What does it say? Open. Yeah, open with Notepad. See, those are the values that it's telling you, the size of the pixel and the coordinates of where it is and that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to use. That's called a sister file. And so let's go back now to get it into our drawing.
Go back to the drawing.
Yes. That you can close, yeah. All right, so now we're going to bring this in and we're going to go do that with our with some image control tools, and we're going to do that with the GIS module. I don't think the GIS menu has it on there. We'll look and see. No. there's image inspector.
Attach image doc to entity.
Oh, right at the bottom, place image by world file.
Okay.
All right, so choose that. And we'll select the file. And it's the TIFF file that we want. No, I'm sorry. It says select world file. So select there we go. Yeah. Because see, read up that top stripe. That's where it was asking you. I almost made that mistake. So we'll select that. We say open. And now look at the layer name. It says geo image, but we had it on image photos. So if you hit select and put it where you want it, you can go up there in the filter box and just start typing image, or of course you're there now. So that's fine. Okay.
Place in background.
And yeah, that's fine. Because that'll put it underneath everything. Let me say okay. And what does it say down below? Base image size 1:1 unitless. It's not asking us for anything, but we got to wait for it to read and process. There you go. All right, there it is. Now, what more can we do with that is if you scroll out a little bit, you can see the edge of it there. Over on the right, or any boundary, any edge of the image. If you select it, yeah, just click the edge of it so that it's selected. Now look over in the properties. Right now it's got brightness and contrast and fade. The brightness and contrast is set to 50, but if you go to that fade button and change that from 0 to 50, it's on down below, I'm sorry, right there. So change that to 50 and hit enter. You see how it dims it out so you can work with it, but still see it. And you can change that to whatever value you need. Okay. And then if you, look at it on your final plat sheet, for instance, and you may or may not want to be plotting it, but you can actually see it.
Right.
And it'll plot. It'll be part of it if you want it to be.
No.
Yeah. And you see also because of, see up there at the top where things are showing through, if you select that, so select the viewport, just the edge of the viewport. No, that's the border. It's the viewport. You can't see it under that, but go down at the bottom, you can see the edge of it. See that red edge? Yeah, select that. Right click and set the draw order to the back. Let me see if that does it. See what I was, yeah, there it is. That's what I was looking to see if this was going to come back over top of it, and it did. Okay. So you would, if you were going to do that, you would need to make sure. So, but
the photograph isn't very clear. Like there's a driveway that comes in here.
Yeah.
And you can't see it.
Well, let's go back to the model space and see if it's any clearer there. It's probably not. Go to model tab.
Oh.
Yeah, and also select it and turn the fade back up if you want to select the edge of it. Now you have to get the edge.
Fade back up to what?
To 0. The fade is how much it is fading. Now, and there's also controls for brightness and contrast and all that as well. So,
okay, there it is.
No, that's a lot nicer there. Okay, so see all your points, they're blocking the photo out because that they have those wipeouts in them. That's kind of neat. So okay, so that shows there. Now if you go back to final plat and let's zoom into that same area. Oh, looks like you are. Okay. Maybe it just needed to have done a refresh. It just needed to regenerate. Scroll out or zoom out. It's just, it has to refresh as it's, yeah. So see, so click, see, we're in paper space. So just click off of the image somewhere on the sheet. Yeah, that's fine. Or press escape. Okay, so you're, oh, that's my mouse I'm looking at. I'm sorry. So you're already there. Just type REA and see what it does. There it is. So it's going to regen. So it will regen. So if we're way up high in the air, zoom way out a bit. Yeah, keep going like that. Or just a little bit more. Okay, now type REA. Okay, so it regens at that level. Now zoom back into that house with the driveway without doing a regen, and you should start to see how blocky it looks. Okay, just keep rolling in. Yeah, see how that's blocky?
Yeah.
Now, that's because it built the drawing back at your last regeneration. That's why your circles look like stop signs and all that. So now if you REA again, at this level, it's going to regenerate that and it should sharpen up. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Cool beans. All right. So that's, and these are great, particularly if they are digital orthos like this, man, you know, you can save a lot of field time if all you're trying to do is show relative positions of stuff.
Right.
Just, you know, trace your driveway in. You want to go out there and survey it. So yeah, it looks nice. Looks very nice. And then you can, like I said, turn it off and you don't need it. And just by freezing that point. Now you, just like we had with the external referenced topo file, you've got some individual control over the image itself. You saw the fade, the brightness, the contrast.
Right.
So you've got that, but in this case, you're going to do most of this one by that wholesale layer manipulation. But it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have a set of layers, but it is sitting on a layer that you can control. All right.
Right.
And now your line weights are turned off. I see down, don't forget about that part down in your title or in your status bar.
Right. Okay.
You know, so that should be enough to get some stuff started on, I think. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
See your property lines, nice and black. And, you know, that's exactly sort of like what we've done. In fact, we could use this very same setup to create the vicinity map, the location map. We could make a little viewport and it would be set to, you know, probably 2000 scale or 1000 scale. And we would reference, or we would go out there and just, you know, draw a little block around our property. And we would have the image on globally. And then we would see all of the line work that you have turned on, like you would want your boundary lines on, maybe turn the text, the points and stuff off. But you would have that, and then maybe set the boundary lines to be white instead of black because you're going to have this photograph under it, you know, and then, but in this viewport, then we would freeze this layer image photo, but in the vicinity map, we would, in that viewport, we would have it active.
Right.
Okay, so this will be the excellent way to do that vicinity map without having to do any kind of effort. You know, we just leave it where it is. We just make a viewport to show the overall property at a much smaller scale. All right, so play with that as you need. If you need to turn down the fade or up the brightness, or, you know, adjust all those things as you need to. And just keep in mind, you're going to have to do some regeneration as you work, which, let me check something, Mike, while you're doing that, we might be able to keep you from having to do quite, oops, or I think it's already set to the highest. Yeah, it is. Okay. So I was trying to see if there's a way that, you keep having to do quite so many of them. Part of it is Zoom. So once we're not on Zoom, it won't be doing that quite so much either. So, all right.
Okay. Thank you,
All
sir.
righty. You are most welcome. And
So can we set something up for Monday afternoon?
yes.
Are you good
And what's
after your meeting?
Yeah, I've got that 11 o'clock. We're probably
I hope to have most of this done by the next time we meet, but it's due on Tuesday, so I'd like you to help me polish it up on Monday.
Okay. Let's plan on 1 o'clock again.
Okay.
And we'll just go from there. Because that will, usually our meetings are fine. If it turns out like today, I've got to ask for 10 minutes or 15 to
Sure.
get stuff. Now I'll let you know. And same thing for you. If you got stuff, let me know. But for now, we'll keep it 1 o'clock. All right.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You are most welcome, my friend. You take care. Stay safe.
You too. Have a good evening.
Yeah, I'll send you the video link once it posts. All right.
Great. Thanks.
You bet. All right. Take care.